Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you all of the books that I bought during my BookTube Besties weekend getaway. All right, so I'm sure a lot of you are aware that my BookTube Besties and I got together last week from when I'm filming this for a long weekend get together, getaway, whatever you want to call it. We all met up in Madison, Wisconsin, and just enjoyed each other's company. We hung out, we did a lot of book shopping, we ate a lot of good food. It was a really, really good time. So if this is your first time here, who I am referring to are Krista from Books and Jams, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, and myself. We call ourselves the BookTube Besties, and this is our second year now doing this get together. Last year we went to Asheville, North Carolina, and so yeah, it is such a great time. I bought this year 46 books. We counted, that's the only way I know, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but I did not buy the most. So I will link all of my friends' channels down below, and you can go check out their book hauls, which will also be going live today, and you can see who bought the most books. It wasn't me. But yeah, before I get into this though, I do want to make an announcement. And that is that I have new fall bookmarks up on my Etsy shop. So my Etsy shop is always linked in my description box down below, or you can go to Etsy and search The Curly Reader, and you should be able to find it there. I make laminated bookmarks that I design, and so I have my fall collection that is available today for purchase, and these are a limited edition. They will only be available for probably a couple of months, and then they will be gone. So if you are interested in them, make sure you go and you get them now. All right, I think that's it. Let's get into the books. I did organize everything, so I think I'm going to be, or I know I'm going to be sharing them with you by kind of genre. And the first grouping that I want to share with you is nonfiction. So I only bought 3 nonfiction books. They are all used. So during this kind of book shopping experience, we went to 2 library sales. We went to 2 or 3. Lindsay and I went to 3. Everybody else went to 2. Whatever. Thrift stores. We went to a used bookstore. We went to a couple of indie bookstores. I bought a couple of books off of Amazon while standing in Barnes and Noble. Don't come at me. And so there's kind of a little bit of everything here, but these 3 nonfiction books are all used. And I got them all 3 at library book sales. So the first one is Books for Living by Will Schwalbe, I'm gonna guess. And this basically says, why is it that we read? Is it to pass time, to learn something new, to escape from reality? And so the author goes through why we read, and each chapter is about a specific novel and why people read it or something along those lines. But some of the chapters that are in here, like Stuart Little, The Girl on the Train, The Odyssey, David Copperfield, Wonder, The Little Prince, 1984, Zen and the Art of Archery, Song of Solomon, Bird by Bird, Rebecca, Reading Lolita in Tehran. So it just sounded really, really interesting, so I went ahead and picked that one up. Another one that I got that is kind of a repurchase for me, but not really, is the Elie Wiesel. It's the entire trilogy. So I already own Night, but I don't have Dawn or The Accident. And so this was like $1. And I just thought it was so pretty, and I'm excited to have all 3 of them in a bind up. So I grabbed that. This is a nonfiction memoir about the Holocaust from a Holocaust survivor. And then the last one that I got is Where Men Win Glory by Jon Krakauer. I read Jon Krakauer earlier this year. I read Under the Banner of Heaven, and I really, really liked it. And so this one is about Pat Tillman, who walked away from a multi-million-dollar NFL contract to join the Army and became an icon of post-9/11 patriotism. He was then killed in Afghanistan 2 years later, and a legend was born. So it's about his life. So those are the 3 nonfiction books that I got. All right, and then I have a lot going on, guys. I got a lot going on over here. Let's get into contemporary. So the first contemporary book that I want to share with you is The Book That Matters Most by Anne Hood. This says, after joining a book group, Ava rediscovers a mysterious book from her childhood, one that helped her through the traumas of the untimely deaths of her sister and mother. Meanwhile, her troubled daughter goes missing while living in Paris, and it says it's a book about love, loss, secrets, friendship, and the healing power of literature, which just sounds like a really, really good time. So grab that one. One that I got at one of the indie bookstores, I picked up Bookish People by Susan Cole. This was a staff pick for this book, and it is about a DC bookstore, and narrated by two very different women and punctuated by political turmoil, a celestial event, and a perpetually broken vacuum cleaner. But I just thought, as a staff pick and being about Bookish People set in an indie bookstore, I bought it from an indie bookstore. I'm excited. All right, one of the books that I ordered off of Amazon while standing in Barnes & Noble was Things We Never Let Go, or no, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is a romance book, and it's about a runaway bride who I don't remember. So she goes to stay with her twin sister in like a really small town, and she runs into a barber who doesn't get involved with high maintenance women, especially not type A romantic ones, but I don't know. It has really, really good reviews on Goodreads. I know that. And it's kind of thick for a romance book, but it sounds good. So we'll see. One that was gifted to me, this was very, very kindly gifted to me by a subscriber, Melinda, and she gave it to Sarah when she met up with Sarah, and Sarah brought them all to our retreat, getaway, whatever you want to call it, and gave them to each of us. And so Melinda gifted me Little Wonders by Kate Rorick. This is about a PTA. That's all I really know. It sounds really cute and funny, and I'm always into like reading a book about parents of school-age children, because I am a parent of school-age children, and I just think they're really funny, and so I cannot wait to get into this one and read it. All right, one that I went looking for and was able to find, and I really wanted to own because I really, really love this cover. I think this was part of my growing TBR recently, and it's Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting by Claire Pooley. This is about a girl who commutes on a train every day and always sees the same people, but they never talk to each other. And then one of them has an accident and starts choking, and one of the other ones like helps save their life. And then they all kind of get to talking and get to knowing each other, and it's about community, and that's all I really know, but I really love the cover. I've heard really good things about it. Yeah. All right. This one I found at a used bookstore, and I'm so excited because I love this cover too. Remarkably by Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is about an octopus, and I don't really know. A charming, witty, and compulsively readable exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope that traces a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. I have heard amazing things about this though, so I'm just gonna go with it. I don't know. All right, another one that I bought new that was on my anticipated releases. I don't remember when this one came out, but this is The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson, and this is about a girl who meets runs into an elderly gentleman on a bus, and he tells her about the time in 1962 that he met a girl on bus number 88, and has been riding the same bus trying to find the girl ever since. And so it just sounds so sweet, and I once again love the cover. Love a good cover, guys. But that one sounded so good as well. All right, next let's do like mystery, thriller, all of it. So a cozy mystery that I found is the third book in the Shady Hollow series. This is Mirror Lake. This is by Juno Black. I already have the first book. I don't have the second book, but I found this one And so I figured I would go ahead and grab it because it was in brand new condition and cheaper than it was on Amazon. And so this is a cozy mystery series that is all like what do you call it when the animals become like humans? So it's all animals, like woodland creatures, life-size woodland creatures, and I'm just assuming I'm gonna love the first one, so I bought the third one. Who knows? Who knows? Another one I got is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, or Osman. This is about some elderly people that in a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders. I've heard amazing things about this one too. I don't know. I love this cover. We got it. Okay. Next. All right, this one I got as a recommendation. I think this was on my Growing TBR also recently. I got this as a recommendation from our BookTube Besties virtual retreat, and that is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. First, I love the cover. Second, it's a book about cults and like investigating people going missing in cults. And so, yeah, I had to buy it. I mean, I had to. And then the last one that I have is one I was talking, as we were book shopping, I was telling Lindsay and Sarah, who are my thriller reading friends, that I really needed a good thriller because I've never really, I don't think I've ever given a thriller 5 stars. I was like, I need a 5-star thriller. And Lindsay handed me this, so I bought it. It's The Chain by Adrienne McKinty, and this is all about like a woman's daughter gets kidnapped, and then she gets a note saying like she has to kidnap or do something to somebody else's kid, and then like the chain just keeps going on and on and on. And she said it was really, really messed up, and she loved it. And so we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. I don't know. All right, YA books that I picked up. The first one, oh, I can't get them. The first one here is one I've already read, but I don't own, and I found it for really cheap. And so I picked up The Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is a book told in verse, about a teen whose brother, I believe, is killed by gun violence. And so he seeks out to revenge his death. And the entire book is told in an elevator ride, and there's magical realism involved. It's all about him going from his floor of his apartment building down to the ground floor and what's going to happen when he hits the ground floor, and it is amazing. And so I'm so glad I was able to find that to put on my shelves. One I found at the thrift store that was just a cover buy is Crooked Hallelujah. This is by Kelly Jo Ford, and this caught my attention because it is 1974 in the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. 15-year-old Justine is pregnant, much to the dismay of her holy rolling mother Lula and her steadfast granny. And then after her daughter's born, she escapes the stifling religious intensity of her home in Indian country to Texas in search for a better life amid the oil bust of the 1980s. And so it's just kind of about, I don't know, Native Americans, and it sounded really interesting. We'll see. And once again, guys, I'm a sucker for a good cover. A graphic novel that I found that I picked up because it was really cheap is Long Distance. This is by Whitney Gardner, and I honestly have no idea what this is about. Summer vacation is not going well. It's set in Portland, Oregon. Or actually, she leaves Portland, Oregon for Seattle, Washington, and I think it is kind of like a alien type sci-fi. We'll see. We'll see. And then another one I found at the thrift store, I picked up Solo by Kwame Alexander. I believe this is the first book in this series. It might not be, now that I'm thinking about it, but it has to do with music, and it's told in verse. I'm trying to see if it's, maybe this is the first one. It's a series told in verse about music, and that's all I really know. So I got it. Okay. Moving on. Let's do historical fiction. Okay. So the first historical fiction, this is one I picked up at a library book sale, The Widow of the South by Robert Hicks. It's based on extraordinary true story of, it flashes back to 1864 in the afternoon of the Battle of Franklin, 5 of the bloodiest hours of the Civil War. And a wounded soldier arrives at this woman's house. He awakens feelings she thought long dead, inspires a passion powerful and unforgettable as the war that consumes a nation. I don't know. It's a Civil War story. We'll see. We'll see. All right, I found this one. I had never heard of this before. The Myth of Surrender by Kelly O'Connor McNess. It says that it's 1960s, free-spirited Doreen is high school aged, and she ends up at a home for the wayward because she ends up pregnant, and kind of finds out that their kids are all being taken from them and what that means and how they can fight against it. I don't really know what else, but it sounded really, really good. All right. Another one I found is The Lost Apothecary. This is by Sarah Penner. This is one that all of my friends have read and loved, and I have not, and so I got it. It is about a woman who makes potions to give to people's significant others, husbands, whatever, when they've done them dirty, and to kill them, I guess. I don't know, but they all really liked it, and so I'm easily influenced. All right, another new release I picked up, Ellen Marie Wiseman's The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. This is her, like I said, new release. It is based off of a real story about the Willowbrook, what is it called? Willowbrook State School in Staten Island, which basically is where troubled children went, and then she finds out not cool things are happening there. It's supposed to be very sinister. I'm very excited to read this, so very excited I picked that up. All right, another one that was so kindly gifted to me. So as part of our trip, we did a meetup with whoever wanted to come, subscribers, other booktubers, whoever wanted to meet us in the Madison area. And so we did that meetup, and one of our subscribers, Sarah, brought us each a gift, and it was so sweet. And so she got me Codename Helene by Ariel Lahan. This is a World War II spy story, and I've heard amazing things about this. I'm very, 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 very excited for this one. And thank you so much, Sarah. It was so nice to meet you. All right. One by an author I recently read The Swimmers by Julia Otsuka. And so I picked up The Buddha in the Attic. This is 8 unforgettable stories, lives of women from their arduous journey by boat to their arrival in San Francisco and their tremendous first nights as new wives. And it's all about picture brides. So I'm excited to check that out because The Swimmers was very, very beautifully written. All right, I picked up The Daughter's Tale by Armando Lucas Correa. It says, a box of letters, a family separated by war, a mother's impossible choice. So it's dual perspective. One is 1939 Berlin, the other is New York 2015. But when Nazis descend on Berlin, the mother's family, or this woman, Amanda Sternberg's beloved family bookshop is burned down, and her husband, Julius, is sent to a concentration camp. Desperate to save her children, she flees south. A refugee ship headed for Cuba offers an escape route, but forces Amanda into an impossible choice that will haunt her for the rest of her life. Guessing she has to make a decision about which kids go where, because it just sounds so horrific. All right, like a sci-fi historical fiction time loop type thing that I found is However Long the Day by Justin Reed. I had never heard of this book, but it is set during World War I, and it has to do with 2 strangers who decide to switch places, and then there is some sort of time loop happening as well. That's all I know. This is a heavy, heavy book. The pages are really, really thick, and so I'm excited to read this. I had never heard of this before. It was just a cover find at the used bookstore. All right. I picked up American Spy. This is by Lauren Wilkinson. I heard Anne Vogel talk about this on her podcast at one point. It's set in 1986 in the heart of the Cold War, and it's about an intelligence officer with the FBI, and I think she goes to Burkina Faso, and that's all I really know. But it's about this woman who becomes a spy, and I am excited to check it out. I've been eyeing it for a while now. And then the last one I have is Today We Go Home. This is by Kelly Estes. Sorry, I gotta get the sticker off. It was covering up the author's name. But this is Seattle, Washington. Larkin Bennett has always known her place, whether it's surrounded by her loving family in the lush greenery of the Pacific Northwest or conducting a dusty patrol in Afghanistan. But all of that changed the day tragedy struck her unit and took away everything she held dear. And then she finds a diary of a young woman who disguised herself as a man to fight for the Union during the Civil War. And then also in Indiana in 1861, you get that woman's perspective as well. So, sounded really good. We're going to check that one out. All right, guys, we're rounding the corner here. We're into the home stretch. We're almost done. Stick with me. Middle grade. So I have a bunch of middle grade here as well. We're going to kind of get through these pretty quick. So first, Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Chaldenko. This is one that was also recommended during Virtual Book Retreat, and it is a historical about set in 1935 about a kid in Alcatraz. It's set in Alcatraz. I picked up a Newbery Honor, The 100 Dresses. I purely picked this up because the illustrations are beautiful. I've heard the book's good too, but I saw this once in a thrift store and didn't pick it up and have regretted it ever since, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I picked up, this was a cover by, I'd never heard of this, Rosetown by Cynthia Rylant. This is one that I found at the used bookstore, but it is set in a town in Indiana, and about a 9-year-old girl. And I'm from Indiana, and so anytime it's set in Indiana, it just kind of sparks my interest, and that's why I bought it. This one, Wings of Olympus by Callie George. I love this cover. I have seen Callie George's illustrations in other things, and I just absolutely love them, and I've been eyeing this book actually for a while, but it's about a Pegasus on Mount Olympus. That's all I really know. I couldn't pass that up. It's just too pretty. So I grabbed that. All right, I picked up one for my kids. This is graphic novel of the Warrior series by Aaron Hunter. This is Gray Stripes Adventure. I found this at the thrift store for like $1, so I always, whenever I find them, I grab them for my kids. I found a couple of books in a series that I bought the first one a while ago, and I found books 2 and 3, and that is the Mother-Daughter Book Club series. This is a book series about mothers and daughters who read classics together. So this one is the Daddy Longlegs one, and this is Anne of Green Gables. So it's Dear Pen Pal and Much Ado About Anne, but these are books 2 and 3 in that series. All right, more. There's more. All right, this is one that Amy Bowman recommended when we went book shopping with everybody that came to the meetup. She recommended Nothing But the Truth by Avi. Apparently this is about a boy who, when kids are supposed to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, they're not supposed to say it, and he decides he's going to say it, and so he gets in trouble, and I don't know. This was a cover by The Other Half of Happy by Rebecca Balcarcel? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. But this one, the reason I picked this up is, one, that cover is just amazing. 2, it won a Pura Belpré Honor Book award, and so I like the Pura Belpré winners usually. But this is 1/2 Guatemalan, 1/2 American. When her Guatemalan cousins moved to town, it suddenly feels like her dad is ashamed that she doesn't know more about her family's heritage, even though he stressed the importance of being American her whole life. And so it's just kind of about her trying to figure out where she belongs. So that one sounded really good. This was another cover by The Owl Keeper by Christine Brodian Jones. Maxwell has always loved the night. He used to do brave things like going tramping through the forest with his gran after dark. He loved the stories she told him about the world before the destruction, about nature and books and silver owls. His favorite story, though, was about the owl keeper. So, we'll see. I found 2 books. I found a nest. Well, I found more than 2 books. I got A Nest for Celeste. This is by Henry Cole, a story about art, inspiration, and the meaning of home. I just think these covers are so cute. And I've seen these around. These ones have illustrations. They just look so fun. And so I wanted to check these out. And then I was able also to find another quest for Celeste. This is the same, or it's the sequel, and it's a story about Abe Lincoln, honesty, and the power of friendship. So I was able to find this one too, and once again has the illustrations in it. So I got both of those, which I'm very excited about. Another cover-ish I picked this book up by Gary D. Schmidt. I had never heard of Lizzy Bright and the Buckminster Boy. It has a Prince Award and a Newbery Honor Award, but it is about a boy who is purely miserable. He is the son of the new minister in a small town in Maine, and he's been shunned because he plays baseball differently. He feels as if everyone young and old is watching every move and every mistake he makes. And he makes one mistake, is that he becomes friends with a smart and lively Lizzy Bright Griffin, the girl from Malaga Island, a poor community founded by former slaves. She shows him a new world along the Maine coast, from digging clams to rowing a boat alongside a whale. When the powerful elders in town, including his father, decide to drive the people off the island and set up tourist business, he stands against them. So it sounded really good, and I had never heard of it, and it's Gary D. Schmidt. All right, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Six More. This is a short story collection by Roald Dahl that I don't have, and I have a lot of Roald Dahl, so I just picked this up. And then I also picked up a book that I've already read, I just don't own yet, The One and Only Ivan. This is a book in verse about a gorilla who is in captivity, and it's from his point of view, and it's so good. So good. All right, and then the last book that I have to share is Crossing the Pressure Line by Laura Ann Bird. This is a middle grade book by a local Madison author. It was in one of the used bookstores there. I paid full price for it. And it is about this girl who goes up into the woods after her grandpa passes away, I think. But I always, whenever I travel, I like to support local authors. And so this was the book that I bought by a Madison author. So those are all the books, and then I do have 2 puzzles that I wanted to share with you because they're bookish puzzles, and I love them so much. So I found this puzzle. It's Book Nerd. It's by Workman Puzzles. I will try to link the puzzles down below if I can, but I found this in one of the indie bookstores, and I just love it so much. And then this other puzzle I found at Barnes & Noble. It's another bookshop. It's in the bookstore. This one is by... what's the puzzle company? Oh, Princeton Architectural Press is the puzzle company. And so I loved it. I love puzzles that have books as the focus. And so I had to get those too. So that's it. That's my haul. This was a long one, guys. I will link the 2 puzzles. My Etsy shop will be linked down below. Everything else... good luck. Just because a lot of it is used and all of that. But I will link down below, if I can, the bookstores that we were able to visit and support. I would love if you live in the Madison area, if you're passing through Madison, go check them out and give them some support as well. And that's going to do it for today. So, like I said, go check out the other 3 ladies' videos today and see what they bought as well. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.